Say anything else, I have an announcement to make. I want all of you and your wives and your children and your brothers-in-law and everyone you know to resolve as of this moment that you will buy no presents for Christmas. And when I say no presents, I mean not a nail file, not a toothbrush, and I want you to tell your children as of this moment and on Christmas Day that the reason there is no Santa Claus this year is because we have lost the right by the murder and genocide of our brothers and sisters to be called a Christian nation. And until we regain that right, we cannot celebrate the birth of the Prince of Peace. And I am very serious about this for two reasons. A, morally, I think this nation should be, and for the foreseeable future, in mourning. B, one must face the fact this Christian nation may never have read any of the Gospels, but they do understand money. We who are on the barricades in this unprecedented revolution, in the position of someone in the Congo or someone in Cuba. That is, we cannot take over the land. The terms of this revolution are precisely these, that we will learn to live together here, or all of us will abruptly stop living. And I mean that. This is not, and never has been, a white nation. And I am not a pupil or ward of Senator Eastland. I am an American. My forefathers bled and suffered and died to create this nation. And if my forefathers had not dammed all those rivers and picked all that cotton and laid all that track, there would not be an American economy today. We are living at the moment through a terrifying crisis, and let me try to put it in the cruelest and most abrupt terms that I can. Let us say that 100 years ago, when I was technically emancipated from the land and given over to the landlords and the bosses, let us say that I was happy in my place and that I loved doing all that singing and dancing down there on the levee. Now I and my father and my grandfather, to say nothing of my grandmother and her mother, never for a moment believed that we were singing and dancing down on the levee because we were so happy. And not for a moment does any black man that I've ever encountered believe that he really was what the country said he was. But what has happened is that the country, by country I mean our government and most of our citizens, believes that I was happy in my place. They believe it so strongly that now they have the courage to ask, what does the Negro want? Well, I know what the Negro wants. And any man who is able to walk and talk knows what the Negro wants. If you know what I want, then you know what if you know what you want, then you know what I want. It is the American Republic, repeat, the American Republic, which created something they call a nigger. They created out of necessities of their own. The nature of this crisis is that I am not a nigger. I never was. I am a man. The question with which the country is confronted is this: why do you need a nigger in the first place? And what are you going to do with him now that he has moved out of his place? Because I am not what you said I was. And if my place, as it turns out, is not my place, then you are not what you said you were. And where is your place? I have never been upset by the fact that I have a broad nose, big lips, and kinky hair. You got upset. And now you must ask yourself why. I, for example, do not bring down property values when I move in. You bring them down when you move out. Now, there are several concrete and dangerous things that we must do to prevent the murder. And please remember, there are several million ways to murder of future children, by which I mean black and white. And one of them, and perhaps the most important, is to take a very hard look at our economic structure and our political institutions. For example, the North, for as long as I've been North, and I was born in the North, has prided itself on not being like the Southern races. In the North, they do not have signs saying white and colored. No one tells you where you can and cannot go. In the North, you have to find that out day by day by what we call trial and error. But the moment you go anywhere near what the man is really concerned about, I mean his pocketbook, what happened in Birmingham happened in New York. New York is a segregated city. It is not segregated by accident. It is not an act of God that keeps the Negroes in Harlem. It is the real estate boards and the banks that do it. And when you attack that, That's where the power is. For example, I ask all of you to ask yourselves, what would happen if Harlem refused to pay